Welcome back to the channel, guys, and welcome back to the Black Series. And of course, coming on to episode 2, we're going to be talking about the SLK55 AMG Black Series successor, i.e. the CLK63 AMG Black Series, where of course the basic CLK63 was considered to be somewhat of a girl's car, whereas it got the Black Series treatment, and well, it went the complete other way and went into a complete phase completely untouched by any other CLK ever made, and well, that introduced a whole other complete monster on its own, with the side of the CLK still being present such that it could literally be a Jekyll and Hyde as to the fact of being a complete sport cruiser, meanwhile being a complete track worthy monster. And of course, in terms of the looks, it's got the quintessential flared arches, 19-inch forged alloys, carbon fiber where the eye could see to keep it as light as possible, 1.8 tons as its proper weight, and on top of that, of course, it may not be a little bit lighter than the basic CLK63, but nevertheless, in terms of power, it does get the proper upgrade of 25 horsepower more, but nevertheless, in terms of the power plant, it gets the legendary M156, i.e. the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8 that pumps out 507 horsepower to the rear wheels with a proper immense amount of 630 Newton meters of torque. And with the fact of that much torque to the rear wheels and the engine completely hooked to a 7-speed automatic flappy paddle gearbox on its own, this would mean that you could completely spin the rear wheels as much as you wanted if you turned the traction control off. And in terms of the 0 to 60 time, it could do it in 4 seconds, and in terms of the top speed, this thing did not stop until it hit the 186 mile an hour marker, or in terms of kilometers an hour, that's 300 kilometers an hour. So not at all shy of big power, big speed. And in terms of the fact of the looks, I mean, it gets the complete CLK DTM style looks on its own, similar to what you could find of the previous CLK DTM, but the complete flared arches are more curved off, and yet it gets the beautiful wide look. And well, in terms of carbon fiber, you got a considerable amount of the massive diffuser on top of that, the complete carbon fiber lip, and well, more in terms of the complete flared arches with a mix of plastic and so. But nevertheless, it is still a proper beauty and completely lauded as one of the most beautiful and one of the best AMGs, or one of the best ever AMGest AMGs of all time. And well, I am online to agree with that, because first off, the complete legendary M156 on its own, completely properly tuned up with the proper burble and symphony from a naturally aspirated V8 from complete German prowess. I mean, that complete symphony is to die for. And as I've said before, and as I'll say again, the M156 in my opinion is the most legendary and the best naturally aspirated V8 to ever come out of the affalterbach headquarters. But nevertheless, it can be disputed, of course, but that is my own opinion. But nevertheless, the 6.2 liter NA V8 will always be god tier in my eyes. And of course, this thing being a proper Jekyll and Hyde, you could of course completely rev it up as high as you want with the transmission in manual, completely hear the burbles, the pops of the NA V8, completely rev it up to over 7000 RPMs and properly track this. And in terms of it being a proper basic CLK, you could just pop it into the highest gear, just it'll sit quite happily at around 2.5k to 3000 RPMs at the slowest speed that you can think of, and it can literally be a proper basic CLK. That is the thing, it can be a complete raw and raucous naturally aspirated V8 monster that completely redlines up all the way over 7000 RPM, that completely full on sounds as obnoxious as a complete NA V8 should. And with the fact of its complete track capabilities, it can be a proper track worthy monster. But on the other hand, it can literally drive itself as a proper CLK 280 of its day on its own, and that is something that is completely admirable and something that only Mercedes could do. And on top of the fact of that, the CLK on its own, I mean, the proper car that is based on either CLK 63, this is miles apart in terms of what it can do, in terms of what it completely consists, in terms of the complete experience, the character, the aura. It's a complete different beast on its own, and that's what Mercedes was about. And this was at a time when the badge 63 on its own actually stood for something. But of course, we do have V8s now, but we didn't until due to the fact of the complete subpar sales of the complete disgrace of an AMG, i.e. the W206 C63 AMG as I like to call it, or the proper word as I like to address it as, i.e. the C20, because of the fact of an AMG on its own that does not have a complete V8 underneath the bonnet, but a stupid 2 liter turbocharged inline 4 as its power plant. I mean, that is completely stupid and out of the water to begin with. And of course, in lieu of the complete subpar sales of only 2 or 3 models to be sold across the entire world, well, Mercedes have completely reverted to the fact of bringing back the V8, and well, that is a complete green flag. But nevertheless, coming back to the CLK 63 AMG Black Series of the car that this is based on, either CLK 63, which was of course considered to be very much of a girl's car, the Black Series on its own is completely not of any of that part on its own. I mean, with the complete track capabilities, the complete looks on its own, with the complete complete wide stance, the complete flared arches, and the fact of the complete grumbly M156 6.2 liter NA-V8 getting the complete massive treatment that completely bored it out and properly turned it into a complete monster on its own, and with the fact of 630 Newton meters of torque going right to the rear wheels. I mean, you couldn't get any more better with the basic CLK. And well, in lieu of this having the most legendary naturally aspirated V8 ever to come out of the affalterbach headquarters, in my opinion, let's just take a listen to some M156 Bliss from the CLK 63 AMG Black Series. And well, the M156 Bliss is something to definitely die for. And of course, in terms of the fact that the CLK 63 AMG Black Series was of course initially intended to be a complete competitor to the BMW M3 of its day, well, someone in the complete factory or the headquarters of affalterbach thought to completely take this to a whole nother level and compete with the likes of the 911 997.1 GT3, which came with a complete 3.6 liter naturally aspirated flat 6, and that too was a complete road going track-worthy opponent and on par with the likes of the CLK 63 AMG Black Series. And of course, with the 3.6 liter NA flat 6 that put out around 450 horsepower on its own, meanwhile this putting out 507 PS on its own or 500 bhp on its own, it was a complete beast. And with the fact that a proper CLK and properly being dialed up to a whole other level, such that it not only competed with the likes of a BMW M3 but with the likes of one of the most desirable cars of its day, i.e. the 997.1 GT3 on its own. And well, that was something that is completely out of the water and out of the complete expectations of the complete customers, but it's something that no one will ever say no to. And of course, in line with the fact that this being a proper Black Series, only 700 of these bad boys are ever made, and with the complete fact of it being a proper quintessential Black Series, the complete flared arches, the complete carbon fiber all over the front splitter, the complete flared arches, and the massive diffuser, which is a complete conversational topic on its own, and the miniature carbon fiber lip, which is actually the best you could do instead of a massive wing on its own. And with the fact of this being similar to that of the CLK DTM, this is a perfect AMG, and as I said, it is considered to be one of the most AMGest of the AMGs, and I am in line to agree with that. And don't forget the fact that this is a complete Jekyll and Hyde, with the fact that this could very much be a complete daily driver CLK. Meanwhile, with the fact that this packs a very big punch, with the fact that this could tackle some of the most desirable cars of its day, and the main competitor of it being the 997.1 GT3, and with the fact of this being one of the most grippiest and planted AMGs of all time, this very much means that this is a proper track-worthy opponent to most cars of its day. And on top of that, this could very much double as a complete comfortable sport cruiser where you can completely pop it up into 7th gear and cruise at around 2.5 to 3k RPMs with a complete reasonable speed limit, with the complete engine toned down as a comfortable ride, and with the fact of it completely being a proper Jekyll and Hyde. That's exactly why I call this the gentle monster. And well, as I said, if anything's admirable about it, it's the fact that this competed not with the BMW M3 of its day, but with the 997.1 GT3 of its day. And well, what do you guys think? M156 for the win, and of course, no replacement for displacement. Well, what do you guys think? Comment below. And well, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Remember that sub button and click the bell to ensure you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See ya.